Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Shalom, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, Salam Kebajikan untuk kita semua. Hello everyone, my name is Chelsea and I'm from World Trade Organization Group. Before we begin, let me ask you a simple question. What would the world look like if every country set its own strict trade rules without any common agreement? Probably chaotic. Markets would shrink, conflicts might rise, and cooperation would be difficult. That's why the World Trade Organization exists. Today, our group will take you through the role, functions, and challenges of the World Trade Organization in shaping global trade. Enjoy!
What is a WTO? The World Trade Organization, or WTO, is an international organization designed to supervise and liberalize world trade. It was formed to correct protectionist problems and trade restrictions that arose between World War I and World War II. The WTO began operations on January 1, 1995, acting as the successor to the General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade, or GATT. By the 2020, the WTO had over 160 members.
Function of WTO. The WTO shall administer the understanding on rules and procedures governing in settlement of disputes, hereinafter referred to as the Dispute Settlement Understanding, or DSU, in Annex 2 to this agreement. The WTO shall administer the Trade Policy Review Mechanism, hereinafter referred to as the TPRM, provided for in Annex 3 to this agreement. With a view to achieving greater coherence in global economic policy making, the WTO shall cooperate as appropriate with the International Monetary Fund and with the International Bank for Reconstruction and Development and its affiliate agencies.
The World Trade Organization (WTO) plays a crucial role both nationally and globally in regulating, facilitating, and overseeing international trade. At the national level, WTO influences member countries by requiring them to comply with its trade rules and agreements. WTO helps regulate trade policies within countries to ensure transparency, non-discrimination, fair competition, and fostering a level playing field for business. It monitors and reviews national trade policies and helps countries, especially developing ones, in integrating into the global economic through technical assistance and special agreements. Thus, WTO shapes national economic policies to align with internationally accepted trade norms, preventing unfair trade practice such as excessive tariffs and subsidies. Globally, WTO functions as the main international body that sets and enforces trade rules among countries. Its roles include providing a forum for trade negotiation, administering trade agreements, and most importantly, settling trade disputes between member states through an impartial dispute resolution mechanism that prevents trade conflicts from escalating into political tensions. The WTO facilitates dialogue and cooperation, promoting free trade, economic growth, and stability in the international trading system. It also works closely with other global financial institutions like the IMF and World Bank to ensure coherent global economic policy making. Additionally, the WTO influences global trade relations by standardizing trade practice, balancing interests between developed and developing countries, and adapting to evolving economic conditions.
The law of the World Trade Organization are a set of detailed guidelines meant to support open, fair, and honest trade between its member countries. This rule makes sure that trade practices are clear, treat all countries equally, and are reliable, which helps keep international business stable. The WTO rules apply to products, services, and intellectual property. And there is a formal process for resolving trade disagreements to make sure everyone follows the rules. Principles of WTO law. The WTO rules set up guidelines to ensure that international trade is fair, open, and treats all countries equally. Must be mentioned, all member countries are treated the same in trade and there is no unfair treatment. National treatment means the imported product should be treated in the same way as product made locally. Tariff binding. Tariffs are set and can be increased without reason, which help make trade more predictable. Transparency. Members must publish trade rules and notify change. Special treatment. Developing countries get more flexibility and more time to follow the rules.
WTO law is a specialized branch of international law focused on regulating international trade. It forms part of public international law and operates under agreements that member countries accept as binding. The relationship between WTO law and international law is complementary. WTO law applies specific trade rules or lex specialis, while general principles of international law also guide interpretation and implementation unless expressly excluded. WTO law's dispute settlement system is based on international legal principles, ensuring fairness and impartiality. This relationship means WTO rules coexist with other international legal frameworks, human rights, or environment law, sometimes requiring balancing between trade and non-trade objectives.
Basic rules of WTO law. WTO law is built around key principles such as discrimination, transparency, and open markets. Fundamental legal principles include trade liberalization, rule of law, and member cooperation. Core rules cover national treatment, most favored nation treatment, and dispute settlement mechanism. Exception to obligation exist for national sovereignty and defense. Example: Articles 20 and 21 at GATT 1994. The dispute settlement understanding or DSU ensures legal interpretation, predictability, and enforcement. Principles like proportionality balance conflicting goals, trade, and protection. WTO law is rule-oriented but allows negotiation and consent among members. Conflicts between WTO rules and other laws are managed by lex specialis and lex posterior doctrines.
International trade with WTO. WTO organizes international trade with three main functions. The first one, trade negotiation, that WTO provides a forum for members to negotiate and agree on new trade agreements. The second, dispute settlement, that WTO dispute settlement body will form a panel to discuss the case and make decision when member has violated the agreement. The third, WTO regularly monitors the trade policies and agreements of each member to ensure the members stick with the agreements. Each member must be agree with board principles of WTO such the GATT, GATS, and the TRIPS. Example, in November 2019, the European Union officially filed a complaint against Indonesia at the WTO due to Indonesia do its ban on nickel ore exports, effective 1 January 2020. Indonesia banned nickel ore export to encourage domestic downstream industries, but the European Union challenged this policy at the WTO because it was considered a violation of global trade rules in November 2022. The WTO panel ruled in favor of the European Union, stating that Indonesia's export ban was inconsistent with the organization rules. This case highlights the role of the WTO as a dispute settlement, where decisions have a direct impact on a country's economic policies and encourage it to comply with international trade commitments. International trade benefits. International trade drives economic growth, providing access to research from other countries, expand the markets, and create jobs. Countries can specialize in producing goods and services they are most efficient and then trade them with others. This process increases global efficiency, lowers price for consumers, and stimulates innovation. WTO as international organization create a transparent and very international trade to ensure the benefits of international trade to be shared by all countries.
So we want to talk about emergency of the global economy in WTO, and we have 3 points in this matter. The first one is the WTO helps prevent the global economy from sliding into chaos followed by protectionist impulses. And the second is the organization commitment to enforcing multilateral trade agreement ensure that economic predictability is maintained, benefiting both businesses and consumers worldwide. And the last one is the WTO dispute resolution mechanism, its effort to modernize trade rules, and its role in protecting smaller economy from unfair trade practice have never been more crucial. Amid ongoing ministerial discussion on trade reforms. Strengthening the WTO rules is imperative to preventing economic fragmentation and ensuring the stability of global trade in an increasingly uncertain world.
The role of World Trade Organization in developing countries. It helps developing countries by giving them access to world markets, letting them join trade talks, and offering a fair system to solve disputes when other countries break the rules. It also gives special treatment like extra time to follow trade commitments. Many developing countries have increased exports and become more active in global trade through the World Trade Organization. But there are also challenges. Many do not have enough experts, money, or strong legal systems to fully use World Trade Organization benefits. Joining or using the dispute system can be costly. In short, the World Trade Organization provides big opportunities for growth and fair trade, but the results depend on each country's ability to take advantage of them. The current issues on World Trade Organization. The World Trade Organization is now facing a big challenge in balancing trade rules with green policies, like renewable energy subsidies, carbon taxes, and cutting fossil fuel support. For example, the EU's carbon border adjustment mechanism makes exports from developing countries more costly because they rely on fossil fuels. World Trade Organization data shows that environmental trade measures grew by more than 30% in the last 5 years. And many developing nations worry this could turn into green protectionism, where climate rules are used as trade barriers. The World Trade Organization has responded through talks in the Committee on Trade on Environment and events like Trade and Environment Week 2025. But there's still no clear global rule on how carbon taxes or green subsidies should work, leaving a lot of tension between climate goals and fair trade.
Now I'll explain about the international rules on international trade. The first one is non-discrimination. Countries must not discriminate between their trading partners, most favored nation, MFN principle, and must give equal treatment to imported and domestic goods once imported, or national treatment. The second one is liberalization. The WTO aims to reduce trade barriers such as tariffs and non-tariff restrictions through negotiation, promoting free trade globally. The third one is predictability and transparency. Tariff rates and market opening commitments are binding to provide predictability. Members must publish trade regulations and notify the WTO of changes, thus ensuring transparency in trade policies. The next one is fair competition. WTO rules discourage unfair trade practice such as export subsidies or dumping to promote open and competitive markets. The next one is development and special treatment. WTO provides developing countries with longer time frames, greater flexibility, and special privilege to help them integrate into the global trading system. The sixth one is dispute settlement. A binding and structured dispute settlement system ensures members adhere to agreements and resolve conflicts peacefully. And the last one is coverage and trade areas. WTO rules cover goods, GATT, services, GATS, intellectual property, TRIPS, subsidies, and governance procurement, giving a broad legal framework to international trade.
There are 4 benefits of international trade. Number 1, one of the top advantages of international trade is increasing number of potential clients. Number 2, a significant advantage of international trade is market diversification. Number 3, successes in one country can influence success in adjacent countries, which can raise company credibility abroad. Number 4, international markets can open up avenues for new services or products to serve that market. The WTO is a blessing or a curse. The WTO is neither universally blessed nor cursed. It is a complex organization with both significant benefits and serious drawbacks. Supporters highlight its role in promoting stability, predictability, and economic growth through the open trade, which can foster private sector development and provide a framework for preventing trade wars. Critics, however, argue that its rules can harm workers, increase inequality, and undermine environmental sustainability, while recent years have seen significant challenges to its governance and effectiveness.
The World Trade Organization is vital for maintaining a stable, open, and predictable global trading system. It sets legal rules that ensure fairness, transparency, and non-discrimination among member countries. The World Trade Organization facilitates trade negotiations, resolves disputes, and monitors trade policies to promote economic growth and international cooperations. It also supports developing countries with special provisions to help them join the global economy. Despite challenges in fully exploiting these benefits, while significantly reducing protectionism and promoting fair competition, the World Trade Organization faces criticism related to environmental issues, inequality, and governance. Strengthening its role is essential to prevent trade conflicts and advance sustainable, equitable trade worldwide.